Welcome back to Global Lens. Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari has given his assent for the 27th Constitutional Amendment Bill after both houses passed it. The controversial bill that aims to bring sweeping changes to the country's balance of power was cleared despite the opposition's protest. Let's decode the amendment. It abolishes the existing post of Chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee and creates a new constitutionally backed position of the Chief of Defence Forces. This post will be held by the country's Army Chief, that is Field Marshal Asim Munir. This means he will be in charge of the Army, Navy and Air Force. Not just that, the amendment grants lifetime immunity to five-star ranks such as Field Marshal, meaning Asim Munir cannot be easily removed or criminally prosecuted even after retirement. The bill also enables the creation of another post, the Commander of the National Strategic Command. This person will be appointed from within the army and in consultation with Asim Munir, and his role will be to oversee Pakistan's nuclear command structure. While Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif hailed the bill's passage as a demonstration of national unity, critics warned that it hands unprecedented power to Asim Munir. General Asim Munir became Army Chief in November 2022 and he was promoted to Field Marshal shortly after the India-Pakistan conflict this year. He's only the second military officer in the country's history to be elevated to this rank. To discuss the implications of this bill, joining us now is Strategic Affairs expert Anju Gupta. Ms. Gupta, thank you very much for joining us on Global Lens. What kind of authority does the 27th Amendment give to General Munir?
Good evening, Parikshit. Thanks for having me on the show. As you've just said, that this amendment abolishes the post of Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which is normally a four-star general above the service chiefs. So that post goes in, and instead they create a post called Chief of Defence Forces. This has never been there. And this person will hold concurrent post of Chief of Army Staff, or the other way around, the Chief of Army Staff will hold this post forever, as per the constitutions, which means that the army now has constitutional superiority over or operational command of the Navy and the Air Force. And we did see that there were some differences, some competition of the Army with the Navy and the Air Force during Operation Sindoor, when we had that problem. So I think that kind of settles it forever, at least till this amendment goes. Second, five-star Asim Munir became five-star general because which was kind of a ceremonial thing. It didn't have any constitutional sanctity, so to say. But now there is a constitutional sanctity to five-star general, and he will have lifelong immunity against prosecution. He'll retain the rank, he'll retain the perks, and he'll retain the uniform. This is something I don't think it has happened anywhere in the world, but this is Pakistan. More importantly, the new post of commander of National Strategic Command, which is being created, will oversee nuclear command structure, and this head will always come from the army, which is a source of great worry. And he will be appointed in consultation with the Chief of Army Staff, or the CDF as you call it. So these are sweeping changes to the hierarchy of armed forces within amongst themselves and also vis-a-vis the civilian authorities in Pakistan.
Right. I'd also like to ask you, ma'am, could this be a precursor to him, Asim Munir, taking over the reins of the Pakistani government?
I think he doesn't need to take over the Pakistani government. What they have done is constitutional re-engineering, if we like to call it so. So instead of army coup, which they haven't effected since 2008, I think the last dictator, as they call it, was Musharraf, and taking over power from civilian authority always created problem with the West, with international organizations, that democracy suspended, etc., etc. So now what they have done is very cleverly, they have done constitutional re-engineering, and he holds the de facto power. He and the top army brass in Pakistan.
Right. Why do you think the Pakistani army, the armed forces, and the government felt the need to give these wide-ranging, vast powers to General Munir?
I don't think they felt the need. I think we are seeing the weakest government in decades in Pakistan. This government is the weakest ever, and I think it is because of the kind of compromises they made to get their share of the pie in the power of the power of in Pakistan. We've seen the kind of maneuvering that took place with Zardari becoming the president, etc., etc. Let's not get into this. So this is the weakest government that the army is dealing with. So here is an opportunity. There is no challenge from anybody except from Imran Khan, who's in jail for more than 2 years. And so it's an opportunity. There is a root constitutional amendment for which the polity was willing to oblige in terms of a constitutional amendment. And most importantly, they have the army per se, or Munir per se has the support of the US and Saudi Arabia. Let's not forget it. I think so everything from their point of view seems to be, falling in place to have kind of done this constitutional reengineering.
Absolutely. Now, what do you think these expanded powers could allow General Munir to do militarily, for example, with regard to India, especially after Operation Sindoor, as his role is getting bigger?
So you've asked me two questions, but I'll try and couple the answer. One, he gets a seat at the high table. So he's the go-to person now. Anything internal, anything external. General Munir is the go-to person now, or the army, so to say. There is no accountability of the kind of dire situation Pakistan has been facing for many years now, where army, paramilitary, and policemen have been killed in hundreds, and there is no accountability. Now, with this kind of a consolidation of power, which is constitutional dictatorship, so to say, there'll be no questions asked. So the situation can become worse and there'll be no question asked. So this is the kind of power now he's going to have where nobody will be able to question him or the army. He can send troops to Gaza. He can send troops to Saudi Arabia. Nobody can ask questions. And more importantly, Pakistan has extended its nuclear umbrella to Saudi Arabia. Let's not forget it. So that this consolidation of power will come in very handy. And that is why I think the support of external actors at this point in time is, I think, godsend for them. And should I answer the question about India? Well, for India, the mask is off.
Absolutely.
The power was always with the army. Now they have, I think, the most constitutionally undemocratic democracy in Pakistan. Munir's hate speeches towards India, I think, is an indication that he's very hawkish on India. He's also very hawkish on Afghanistan. So my sense is that the military approach to security, which Pakistan is taking under his supervision, is going to be strengthened. But it'll be counterproductive for Pakistan, but nevertheless, region will bleed. That's my sense. I hope not, but that's how it looks to me currently.
Okay. All right, ma'am. I'd like to ask you the last question about the Red Fort metro station blast that we saw. It is being investigated as a terror attack. We've not jumped to any conclusions or accused any country for the moment, but what are the lessons for the future?
Very quickly, I would say 3 lessons. One is that there is definitely a need to make our counterterrorism apparatus more robust. And only the social media control operations will not suffice. I think hard CT work, which is very laborious, will have to be augmented. And I'm very sure that this is what government must be doing. This is what all the governments, state governments also have to do, apart from agencies. Second, I think we need better policing. And we saw in this particular, case, how police in Srinagar were alarmed by, the Jaish-e-Mohammed posters, and they could actually identify 3 young boys who were stone pelters. And they led them to this person who was an ex-Jaish cadre. And that is how they could actually get the whole, the entire network. It's a very important lesson in urban policing. Third, I think we really need counter-radicalization, a very solid counter-radicalization program, online as well as offline. And at the same time, restraining hate speeches and rabble-rousing. By rabble-rousing and hate speeches, counter-radicalization cannot be achieved for a country like us, which is very diverse. So these are some of the thoughts that I have about what we really have to do, apart from, I'm sure, many other things.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gupta, for joining us in the program, speaking about the elevation of Asim Munir, the kind of powers that the 27th Amendment in Pakistan is going to give to him, and also the long-term ramifications of the Red Fort metro station explosion that we've seen. Let's move on and